Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Ruby and Yovana, and we're here as we represent AIRE Latinx, which is the AI Resource Exchange. And so this is the place or the space where we talk about all things AI. We want to educate, empower, equip you with skills so that you can become leaders in your organizations and leverage some of these awesome tools. So welcome back, Yovana. I know you were in New York this weekend, and I hear things were kind of shaking up there, huh?
Literally and figuratively. Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Yovana Rosales. I go by AI.Latina.enthusiast, so that's how you can find me through social media platforms. As Ruby stated, I was in New York this past weekend, and I was there for their earthquake. Ruby, I think it was like 4.7 magnitude, and I was in my room at that time, and I was talking to some friends and they're like, yeah, there's an earthquake literally just like happening right now. And so I was kind of like, so what are we doing? Are we staying inside? Are we not supposed to take the elevator? So that's all
Did
the
you
way
even
I
know what
wanted
to
to.
do?
No, I've never been in like areas where it's taking place. Or I mean, I used to be in California for a while, but I never remember being part of an earthquake kind of situation. And so we were on the 17th floor, and I was like, hey, can we take the elevators? Is this safe? What's happening? Are we just walking down the stairs? What are we doing? But New York is going to be New York, and New Yorkers are going to be New Yorkers. And so they were just New Yorking, still on the street, right? Still hustling, still getting from point A to point B, not even thinking about whether or not they were going to take the train. I didn't take the train that day. I was super sus, especially with the aftershocks. You don't know what that would look like, what that would entail, what would happen to the subways. So yeah, it was pretty interesting to be in a space that I'm not that familiar with, and just seeing local folk go on about their day and not even beyond nonchalant. It was like, okay, cool, there's an earthquake. Like, what else is new in New York?
Yeah, life just keeps moving on, right?
Yeah. I think what was more interesting to see was the eclipse that just took place on Monday.
Yeah.
I was out there as well. And so
Oh, so did you get a total eclipse out there?
I got by the time I think the total eclipse happened, I was on the subway coming back, going to the airport. But it was very interesting to see, because I ended up, in the beginning I was in Roosevelt Island. So if you're not familiar, they have this park out there, and it's grassy area. And so I believe it was like their national state park, New York State Park, was out there giving out eclipse glasses. They had their eclipse binoculars. And so there was a very like green area, very open area to be able to see the eclipse. And I thought that was super awesome. It was a great time. And then I make my way back into the city because I had to go grab my maletas, my luggage, and then get on the train to head to LaGuardia. And all you see on every corner is just people huddled together and looking up at the sky, because the skyscrapers are so huge. It wasn't like Roosevelt Island where everything's open.
Open.
Yeah, like you can see the sun pretty much from anywhere. In the city, obviously, these skyscrapers are taking up so much of the sky that, yeah, it was just very funny to see folks like bikers trying to avoid pedestrians that were already on the street, not trying to be hit by a taxi. Again, just New York being New York. Folks taking orders. Like, I was at a bakery, they were taking my order, but they were also looking at the eclipse while they were taking my order. Yeah, this is great.
I loved it. I totally nerd out. I was like, my next job is an eclipse chaser. Like
I get it.
I was listening to podcasts, and I wish I started listening to them earlier. I didn't start listening to them to the day of, and I was hearing like astrophysicists talk about what like a spectacular view is, and this is like the closest that you would get to seeing like what like outer space or feeling like you're in the solar system. And I was like, I want to experience it. I would have driven the 10 hours to go into total what is it, eclipse of totality. So I already looked, and it doesn't happen. I think the next one is like 2044 for the United States.
Yeah.
But because like I said, again, nerd, this astrophysicist says around the world it happens every 18 months.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I just have to go to a part of the world. So I guess the next one is like in Spain. So I was like, okay, I guess I have to go to Spain.
I mean, that's all.
And
We've
go
talked
to
about
Spain.
Spain.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That's so funny you should mention that, because they're saying that this year is the best year to see the Northern Lights, and they even give different recommendations of different locations. And I've talked to a few friends and I'm like, so about the Northern Lights, are we making this a vacation? Because I'm down to make this a vacation. So the eclipse thing, I totally understand, because I'm trying to do that with the Northern Lights.
Yeah, so I might update my LinkedIn headline to Eclipse Chaser. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see.
I mean, might as well. If we start seeing posts about the eclipse, like we know who's in it. We know who's in the rabbit hole now.
That's what happens with ADHD, right? You just go
yeah, you're in it.
So for those that are jumping in, thank you for joining us. We're just chatting here. We I want to touch on a couple things. We'll talk about it at the end. And I think I want to start us off by just saying that, we're really excited. Yovana and I, in partnership with Dominican University, are hosting a workshop in the Chicago area. It is Tuesday, April 23rd. So we're like, it's 2 weeks away, right, Yovana? 2 weeks away.
Yeah, that's insane.
We've been working on the content for it. And I have to say, it's pretty awesome. So no matter where you are in your leadership journey, like we have something for you in this workshop. I think you're going to take away a lot of it. We're combining like the leadership with the AI skills, which is really essential because the workforce is changing. And, as a leader, part of your role is managing change and helping others get on board too. So we're looking at this as like a tremendous opportunity for you to, up level both in your generative AI skills, but also in your leadership. So I'm really psyched about that. If you haven't yet bought your ticket, early bird tickets are available till I think it's Friday, the 14th, right? The 14th. And let's dive in. Like, what do you have for us this week, Yovana? What are some of what's going on in the world of AI?
Another quick mention about the event. Yes, me and Ruby are doing it live at Dominican University here in the Chicagoland area. But we just got confirmation that if you are not in the Chicagoland area, but still want to see what Ruby and I are up to, what this leadership AI is going to look like for you to scale your leadership role, if you will, or to become a leader within your industry, there's going to be a virtual option. So we're really, really excited about that. We just got clearance on that. So you'll see two different options to purchase tickets. You'll see a regular in person, and then you'll see a virtual option as well. So if your schedule doesn't let you be able to make it, if you are in the Chicagoland area, or if you're just not in the area but still want to learn, please feel free to look into the virtual option, because we're really excited about that inclusivity that Dominican was able to give us. As far as AI, so two good, I don't know if it's good, but two things that came up this week. Meta has confirmed that they are launching Llama 3, and they are launching it within the next month. And so obviously, as we know, there's several different versions within Llama, but this one's going to have different capabilities over the year. They haven't disclosed exactly what that is, but they expect to have about 140 billion parameters over OpenAI's GPT-4. And so what my question is, does that mean that like the capacity, or does that mean the speed of it? Does that mean both? We shall see. We shall see next month, because that's when launch is taking place. And then another in other AI news that came up that I saw, Google is announcing 2 new AI tools. The first AI tool that Google is coming out with is Google Vids, which is an AI-powered video tool. It's basically what it's going to do is it's a tool that's going to generate outlines, slides, and voiceovers for business presentations.
Oh, so, business presentations. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm digging that.
Yeah. So that's going to be their new tool. They're starting the beta testing in June. So when will the actual launch take place? Not really sure, but it's something that they're working out on. So as soon as we find that link for beta testing, we'll go ahead and share it out in the world with our community, so that way you can sign up and be part of the beta testing when it comes to that pretty cool tool. The second thing that they are launching is AI meeting notes and summaries for Google Meet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an AI meeting note tools that include Zoom and Microsoft Teams. It's basically being able to take down notes, do summaries for you. As mentioned, it's something that Zoom already does, as well as Microsoft Teams. Google apparently had never done it. I was surprised. I guess I automatically thought that they had, but they didn't. So it says that if you're using other tools like Otter, Fireflies, or DLDV, just to make sure to compare your pricing, because the Google Notes summaries will be $10 a month for users to be able to
Okay, that's good to know. I know I use Otter a lot, so
okay, yeah. So compare pricing. Definitely go into Google. What is it called? AI meeting notes and summaries for Google Meet. So I can put that in our chat. But yeah, if you want to Google that and then compare the prices to see what it has compared to what it doesn't have with Otter, Ruby, and folks, that'd be something good to look into.
Yeah, that has been. I know that, like, I've even been using it with my coaching calls.
Yeah.
To summarize our meetings, and it also, what's so great about it is it takes note of your action steps or next steps. And
That's
so
awesome.
that's such a lifesaver, because sometimes my notes are so sloppy, and that really helps. So if you aren't taking advantage of that, y'all, that is a great, like, you don't need to have someone who is, what's the word, transcribing all of the notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's also giving you a chance, as you are a coach, Ruby, or like as myself as a consultant, really listening to what folks are saying instead of trying to concentrate on every little note that you're taking. I know sometimes I find myself asking folks to repeat themselves, even sometimes more than once, just because I want to make sure I have all the details on paper, or while I'm typing. And so being able to have something be able to do that for you, summarize it, and like you say, do actionable steps is such a lifesaver, and is able to have you focus more on the relationship and the collaboration that you're doing with whoever you're on screen with.
Yeah, it's so great, because, and I have a really hard time multitasking if I'm trying to think about what I'm writing down and then not listening to what the product person is next saying. So that's a really great tool. So I'm going to definitely check that one out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but those are the two things that Google's working on. Like I said, once I'm able to get a hold of that link, I will throw it in this chat. That way we can start being beta testers for the slides.
And Yovana, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, but I think this is a conversation that we had last week, is like, why is it important for us to be beta testers as Latinos specifically?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about bias as well as prejudice within the AI realm. LLMs being one of those within the AI industry, large language models. And so in order to break the algorithm, we need to be using it more. We need to be feeding it more. We need to feed it more. If your brand is bilingual, which I know Ruby and I's are, we're able to feed it Spanglish, and the output that we get and the algorithm that it starts noticing in our profiles is more bilingual output. So being able to be the forefront, if you will, of like trying to stop this prejudice and this bias, or trying to get a head start of it, if you will, is imperative. So yeah, if we can all become beta testers, like, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So we're feeding it the information, which helps it come out with the output. So our engagement in it is so important to the output, right? And I think I might have shared this last time, but I think if you like if you typed in like software developer, it came back in a masculine form, like man. But if you put in like house, if you put in what was it, house or something like, and it wasn't housemate, what was it, housekeeper or something like that, it spit out information as if it was a female. Right. Yes,
Really?
yes. I can find the article. I might have even read it in my school. I did. I think I read it in my school, but an academic journal for school last week. So I
Wow.
can share that. But that's why it's so important is like we're also redefining what it means to be a software developer, right? Like there are more software developers than like men, right?
Yeah.
And men can also take care of like housekeeping duties, right? So
Yeah.
that it really is important for us to be feeding it information so that we have kind of a broad spectrum of what it looks like.
And prompting it correctly, which is a really good point, which is kind of what you're saying, Ruby. This morning, I had to come up with some questions that I'm going to be doing for a panel discussion. And I literally wrote, act as a Latina moderator for a women's panel. These are the topics that are priority, right?
Mhm.
Inclusivity, women in cybersecurity, and then there was one more, probably bias. And then I had asked it to create questions surrounding that. But again, I made sure that when I started that prompt, it was act as a Latina moderator.
Yeah.
And
And when
then I got different output than just writing as act as a moderator and then give me questions. Three different inputs. So I got three different outputs.
yeah, great feedback. And I know I do the same thing because of like my audience mostly being Latina professionals and leaders. I usually write something like the same thing, my audience or my community, or like target this towards or whatever, because that does really make a big difference. And now, I pay for the paid version of Chat GPT. So now it has that memory of that as well.
And that's what I was going to say. Sometimes it's not going to get it right the first few times. I mean, there's still times that I have to sit there and say, no, this is not what I meant. This is what I meant. And make sure that you feed it and tell it that this is not what I meant. In the future, this is what I'm looking for. That way it can start picking up your algorithm and your brand and the way you sound. So that way it's not making so many mistakes down the road.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we shouldn't be taking that first draft and just
Yeah.
copying and pasting anyways, right? Like we really need to, it can be great to like start something or finish something, but it's, we still have the intelligence and knowledge behind finessing it and giving it really our voice and putting our spin on it or adding to it and things like that. But the more that we use it, the more that it also knows our voice. I know I've uploaded my own writing on it and said like, how would you describe this voice? Make it sound like me, things like that, to just kind of help with some of the content creation side of things.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, you and I have gone down the rabbit hole with our presentation, right? Like
Yeah.
we had the idea, we had the concept, and then we were kind of in it for about a good hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just feeding it the way, again, me and Ruby speak, the values, what the call to action was going to be at the end of the presentation. We had the pillars, if you will, and then we just took our pillars and fed it to the machine and came out with some really great output.
Yeah. I will say this, if you're thinking about, I hope that you'll come to the event. We're really excited about it. We really want to make impact. We want your feedback. I think it's going to be, both Yovana and I are completely about comunidad and like sharing knowledge and collaboration. So I'm really excited about that. And I will say that what I love about this workshop too is when we think about leadership, I think a lot of times we only think in like career or professional wise, but leadership is also just about like leading yourself. It's about self mastery. And so what I love is that we're looking at, yes, like how are you going to use this for your own career development, but we're also looking at like how do you help use this for the self mastery part? Like what are some of the I don't want to give too much away, but like, what are the ways that you can use it just to help you in even your personal development? Because the way that a lot of times that we do the way we do life is the way we do life. There's not a lot of separation between the two, right? We'd like to think there is. And so we're giving you a lot of tools that expand beyond the workplace to really support you in your growth. So
very holistic from two holistic women.
Yeah, exactly. Very holistic. I also wanted to share, so briefly, I want to share, I love all these reports. Like, I love looking up reports and looking at data, even though I don't like analyzing data, like in my learning analytics class, but I love reading about it after it's already, kind of curated and narrated. And so Udemy, which is like a learning platform, right? An online learning platform, came out with a report. And I mentioned another report, but this is again a new report. They went out and surveyed 2,500 different leaders who are managing generative AI in their organizations. And what they were really looking for was how leadership teams are perceived in terms of their readiness for generative AI and like initiatives within their organization, their ability to be able to go out and communicate that within the organization, and then how to manage risk associated with it, as well as just leveraging it as a competitive advantage. And so some of the statistics were that 88% of employees that were surveyed believed that leadership is crucial for the success of Gen AI initiative. So this is going, everything we're talking about with this event is about owning your leadership, right? Like stepping into your power, like dealing with change management. So 88% of folks believe that that leadership is absolutely crucial for Gen AI initiatives. 55% are confident their leaders can make generative AI part of their competitive advantage. However, less than 50% feel the leadership team is really ready for successful implementation. So they think like there's the possibility, but the implementation is where it's falling short. Like, how is this really going to get rolled out, right? And it looks like middle managers in particular are kind of like the most threatened by AI and what it means for them and their roles, I think. So there's just that feeling of, oh my gosh, is it going to take my job away? Right. Like,
right.
Will I still have, is this a threat? And we've talked about this too. Like, it's not that generative AI is a threat, but what happens is if someone else knows how to use it, that's going to be, I hate to use the word threat, but right. That's going to be the competition there. So, and this is, this was a survey of like more than 2,500 individual employees and leaders across all industries: tech, finance, retail, nonprofit. So leaders really need to develop skills in order to guide not only their teams through transformation, but being able to lead themselves through transformation, through this like, digital transformation. So, and with that being said, there was another research firm that did a survey, and they said 60% of HR execs said they'll focus on cultivating leader and manager effectiveness. So again, we're just like like the importance of leadership because things are changing so quickly, right?
Yeah.
So all that to say that we can't wait for someone else to give us the skills. We cannot wait for your boss, for your organization to roll these skills out. Like, we have to lead by example. We have to develop ourselves. We have to cultivate a growth mindset, and we have to prepare for future changes in the workforce. And they are coming, and they are coming fast.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really great point, Ruby. It's leadership starts within you, and you are responsible for making sure that change is coming and that you are as prepared as you can be. And we're not saying go down the rabbit hole of trying to learn everything. You and I are very transparent when it comes to that. We don't know everything. We don't say that we know everything. And there's a lot of other folk that like we've even talked about trying to have guests on the show now who we can learn from and the community can learn from. But taking that initial step of being the leader of saying, hey, we know we don't know, so let's start getting in other folks that may be able to show us, to guide us, to help us. But that's us being very self-aware and being able to observe. And so that I think we tend to forget that leadership isn't this grandiose word or this like, if I'm a leader, I'm minimum a director. No, leadership starts with you, and that can look different in so many various ways. And then that's what we're going to show with the workshop, is just starting from within and then how it will expand to your community, your workforce, and what you are managing, whether that's a solopreneur, an entrepreneur with employees, or you being able to manage a team in a 9-to-5 corporate professional setting.
Yeah. And even if you're not managing a team and you're just within, you can still be a leader within your organization without having to lead a team, right? It's just more about that ownership once again, and having some of those skills that make up an effective leader, right? Like communication, change management, courage, being calm in the midst of chaos is one. Confidence, right? Like these are all important leadership skills, and everything is pointing to like this is the skill to cultivate leadership. So
yeah, no, I agree. I was just chuckling because I was thinking of like the New Yorkers just being leaders, right? Just like not being like not wreaking havoc or causing any type of commotion during this earthquake. Like they're like whatever.
we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
Yeah, they're very calm, very calm. Well, I'm questioning whether or not I should take an elevator.
Yeah, I just hear sirens going back like off in the background. And I'm like, are you safe? Like, what is going on?
Yes, Ruby, even though Ruby was not there physically, she definitely was there watching everything happen live off of Broadway as I was sitting at the cafe. So shout out to Ruby for being part of my experience and emotional support at the time.
Yeah, no worries. So I think we're at the top of our time right now. So the link is in the comments. Feel free to share it with others. We would love to have you there, whether you're joining live in Chicago. I hope to meet many of you in person. I know we hope to meet many of you in person. But if you can't make it because you're in another state or for whatever reason, make sure to get your ticket and join us virtually. We would love to have your participation. And we promise you're going to walk away with some really great knowledge as well as a personalized plan for your leadership development. And I think that's really awesome, as this is something that you can take and have like immediate application as well. Anything you want to add, Yovana?
I'm just really excited. The fact that we were able to sit down together, work on it again during the earthquake, during the aftershocks of the earthquake in New York. Like there's just so much backstory to this event. And so just being able to see it come into fruition, able to see it live, how valuable it is, the fact that you are coming out with a personalized plan, the fact that Ruby, you have data to back up that leadership is the next, it sounds like it's the next skill, right? Like learn AI and be a great leader. Those seem to be the
communication.
The top.
I think those are like the top three right there.
Yeah. So, which we will have all three, the fourth being collaboration. So yeah, we hope to see everyone. We're really excited. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, whether that's to Ruby or myself. We're always here to answer. But thank you so much for everyone for your time. And we can't wait to see you in a few weeks.
Yeah. And we won't be back live because that week is the live event. So we won't be back till May.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So this is our last short call here before our workshop. And that week,
okay.
I think we'll be, unless we do decide, well, I guess we'll have to figure it out, but I think we won't be back till May at that point.
Okay. All right.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hope to see you in Chicago.
Bye.
Bye.